I'm Christopher Hine, and we're here in Lower Yosemite in California, talking about the mental aspects of training in Aikido and what those are. And we're talking a little bit right now about the concept of kokoro. And kokoro means the interplay between your conscious mind and your unconscious mind, and what that interplay is. There's a lot of different words that the Japanese have that describe these kinds of relationships. And usually you hear those, they have shin at the end, right? So Mushin, Fudoshin, Zanshin, Shoshin. These are words that are trying to point at some kind of way of being. And I believe all these words are really kind of an ability to get at the concept of kokyu, and we'll talk about kokyu later, but they're kind of ways that one can balance the mind, balance the interplay between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. And I think one of those concepts that's really, really interesting is the concept of Mushin. And mu, the kanji for mu is without, void, like nothingness. And the idea of shin, of course, is kokoro, which is a balancing or an interplay of the conscious and unconscious mind. So when you hear Mushin, it's often directly translated as no mind, which I think is really confusing to Westerners or people who aren't used to training in esoteric Japanese things, because it sounds like you don't have a mind, there is no mind at all, or that your mind disappears or your thoughts disappear. And I know definitely when I began training in meditation that I thought the concept of Mushin was that my mind would go completely blank, that there would be no thoughts in my head. And I remember chastising myself quite a lot for sitting and thoughts arising in my head, and then being mad that thoughts arose, like, oh my God, these thoughts have arisen in my head, and if I were really training and I was really good, there would be no thoughts in my head, and I can't achieve Mushin, and terrible me. And the problem is not the thought that arises in your head, it's your attachment to the thought that arises in your head. And that's what's not Mushin. It's not that the thought is a problem, it's me chastising myself about the thought that's a problem. My conscious mind just kicks out thoughts all the time. That's what it does. It's its job. Its job is to pick up on things all the time and go, hey, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? And in truth, probably more what's happening is my unconscious mind isn't certain about something, and so it checks in with my conscious mind and says, hey, conscious mind, check this out. If I allow the conscious mind to go, then I'm attaching to something that's already done. It's already over. And the idea of Mushin is that I should be directly in the moment, allowing my unconscious mind to do what it does and allowing my conscious mind to do what it does. Now, as weird as this might sound, I can let my conscious mind do its conscious mind stuff, but I still don't have to be attached to that. And if you're using this, so like in Jiawaza or Randori, when you see someone who's having a really good Jiawaza, they are doing it because they have very good Mushin. So their Mushin is good, meaning that what happens is their unconscious body is reacting to the situation, their unconscious mind is reacting to the situation, and their conscious mind is just observing and being with it. It's neither congratulating or chastising, right? So your conscious mind isn't watching your body do something and then saying, oh, good job, like good for you, that's good, that's so good. Because that energy you're putting into congratulating yourself is taking away from the moment. It's also not chastising you, right? Like, oh, you did that wrong, oh, you messed up there, oh, you screwed up there. All of that stuff is also pulling you out of the moment. So when you have good Mushin, your conscious mind and your unconscious mind are working beautifully together. And sometimes when we talk about the concept of Mushin, we'll talk about the concept of kokoro no mizu, which means like mind like water, right? And if you think about water, if light comes on water, it reflects the light back exactly the way it is. If you pour water into a glass, it becomes the shape of the glass. If you run your hands through water, water moves aside and lets you move your hand through. And so when you're working on your Mushin, you want to have this idea of kokoro no mizu, which is your mind's like water. It can flow from one place to another place and be okay wherever it is, as opposed to you making judgments about it and being critical about it. Because all those problems, those judgments you're making are just pulling you out of the moment. And they're taking more processing power away from what you need to be doing, which is right in the moment, right? So in the moment's not the time to analyze something, whether it be good or bad. It's just the time to let it be. And if your unconscious mind needs help, your conscious mind can come in and do its job. It can assess something and go, oh, that's what I should be doing. But you shouldn't attach to it in a judgmental way that has nothing to do with the moment. So I think Mushin's a really tricky concept because it doesn't mean that you're completely, your conscious mind isn't doing its job, because that's what it does. The only way to get your conscious mind to shut totally off is to be dead. And so your conscious mind should be allowed to do what it does, but you don't want to have judgments and criticisms and congratulations about what's happening. You just want to let it be. So this is kind of the concept of Mushin and how it relates to Aikido training. We'll talk about some more of these in some future videos here. I'm Christopher Fine. Thanks for watching.